waterboard, dude!
Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. I got Joe Bear, and I don't have Joe Bear. I got Bucky the damn beaver, and of course I have the funky chicken. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope you all are having a great day. We've got some problems coming out of Dallas. And one is the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. I have to say, Connor Riley, here's coaching matters. Coaching matters. The Dallas Cowboys offensive line, although I'm going to say, you use Pro Football Focus, as a tool. They're a tool. Pro Football Focus is a tool. Doesn't mean it's the be-all, end-all that they always get things right, because this is kind of mystifying to me. Because what they have is, right now, when you look at the Dallas Cowboys offensive line, they have the Dallas Cowboys offensive line ranked at 27 going into Week 13. Now, of course, the Cowboys had already played on Thursday night, be that as it may. They have them at 22nd. Now, keep in mind that you just played the defending Super Bowl champions, and followed it up with the Kansas City Chiefs with Chris Jones. And I believe the Eagles got one sack with that great front. I'm not sure. I don't think Kansas City got a sack. That the Dallas Cowboys are one of the least sacked teams in the NFL, only giving up 17 already in the season. The Cowboys have one of the top running backs in Javonte Williams. So clearly you have to say that this offensive line is doing some things. So, but to put this in perspective, now you tell me, the Eagles say that they have problems with the offensive line. Of course, they lost Lane Johnson. Landon Dickerson was never right to begin and everything, right? And that they're saying that the reason that they can't run the football is because the offensive line's not right? And I think we can all agree with that. I would say that they are. I'm going to say that they are not anywhere near what they were before. And that's not trying to throw shade at them. There's enough people throwing shade at them. But here's where it gets to be interesting. You look at what the Dallas Cowboys offensive line, which is Cowboys offense has more yards than anybody else this year, right? They are doing their thing. Dak Prescott's got 25 TD passes. Javonte Williams will go over 1,000 yards already this year. Least sacked quarterback. They're handling some of the best defenders. I mean, they handled Max Crosby, the Eagles defense, and Chris Jones in 3 consecutive weeks. Short weeks, in 17 days. But they're only ranked 27th. If you go in here, and I want you to think about this here. They have the New York Giants at 15. Are you really going to tell me that the New York Giants have a better offensive line than the Cowboys? Wait, there's more. They're going to say that the Commanders, who've gotten their quarterback killed, is the 11th best offensive line in football. Would you take the Commanders, or would you take the Giants' offensive line over the Cowboys? I'm asking for a friend. Would you take the Commanders' offensive line over the Cowboys? Biotish and crew. The Lions, they have a 10, and they're ravaged right now by injuries, and they're trying to get a guy retired, Ragnow, back, and they can't, and they're devastated. Would you take the Lions' offensive line over ours right now? And they have the Eagles. They did drop the Eagles by 3 to 8. Would you take the Eagles' offensive line over the Cowboys right now? I think not. I think not. And this is where you think about a couple of years ago when we had Joe Phoeben as an offensive line coach. Remember back when we had Paul Alexander, Mr. Ketchup Bottle. Okay, Paul Alexander was here talking about his test. His test for offensive linemen's intelligence was the ketchup bottle test. If you take a bottle of ketchup and you have the 50 sign, you turn it on the side, and if you tap the 57, the ketchup will come out of the bottle. Thing is who actually gets bottles of ketchup? It's all squeeze bottles now. Yeah. So there's that. When the Cowboys had Joe Phoeben, I think Joe Phoeben was terrible as an offensive lineman coach. He just was not good. He was not good as a head coach, and the Cowboys' offensive line was crap. The last time we had a good offensive line coach was Marco Colombo. When we had Marco Colombo, who took over for Paul Alexander, you saw the offensive line literally turn it around mid-season. And now we got that dude now in Connor Riley. Connor Riley, who didn't have a lot of professional coaching experience. He ended up coming from the college ranks, but he was well respected when he got here, and he has done an incredible job with Tyler Booker. Tyler Booker has been incredible. You look at the juggernaut, Cooper Beebe, who is holding down the middle of the field, and of course, Tyler Smith. The Dallas Cowboys interior offensive line, I will put against anybody right now. Do we have problems on the tackles? Yeah, we do. But, Big Nate, who really, this is his second year, Big Nate is going to be a stud. And to have him being able to swing from left to right, right to left, left to right, has been incredible. I'm having a feeling that Terrence Steele is not going to be part of the Cowboys' offensive line after this year, and Tyler Guyton has got to stay healthy. He's shown some signs of improvement and looking better, but he's got to stay healthy. But the Cowboys' offensive line has been doing some major damage in there, and you have to applaud them, even if Pro Football Focus doesn't. The other thing that you got to really applaud too is having a guy that is uncoverable, and that is George Pickens. George Pickens is an absolute positive beast, and he basically tells you on the slant, can't nobody touch me.
Dak and CD talked about how this defensive back group is really physical, play you one-on-one, hand-to-hand. Is there another opponent that's played you guys that way to prepare you for this, or is it just a unique challenge?
The Jets. I think the Jets played a lot of man-to-man. And then, of course, the Lions embody a lot what their head coach brings to the table, Dan Campbell. So, of course, like them guys said, they're physical and they do play man-to-man.
Well, this feel like a playoff game? Is something that you guys got to have? It's a game they have to have. It's prime time.
Yeah, I feel like the two type of teams is already high-caliber teams. So whether it feels like it or it's not, I feel like the intentions of us should go into it with that manner.
George, you've been so successful with slant routes. Why are you so successful in those?
Just certain leverage, just getting open.
When you see the potential leverage, I guess how excited, and you're running a slant, I guess how excited do you get?
I've kind of beat both of them, so like sometimes I don't even have the leverage, and I still catch it. I feel like slant's not, not too much. It's a short route, so everything is just pretty much me. If he guards me and I make a contested catch, or if I just cook him off the line.
When you can raise you one shot at
Yeah, I got a, just a quick twitch. So, like
quick
I said,
twitch.
Telling him whether he's inside, I can do a certain move to make him get outside. If he's outside, I can leave him there. It's a lot of stuff.
So I know it's not just like shit. I mean, Brandon Moss was on TV like, don't let him run the slant, don't let him run the slant.
Yeah.
You saw that?
Yeah,
Like, can they stop you from running the slant?
Nah, it's kind of inevitable. It's gonna happen regardless. Yeah, that's why I really can't really describe it. It's gonna kind of happen regardless. Because I done beat it against 2-man, I done beat it against man, 3, 4. So when
I just beat everybody.
They have to respect the fact that you can take the go ball.
Exactly. So like, that's why I was like, it's kind of inevitable. There's nothing they can do to win. It's kind of hard to describe because I got the go ball, got the stop route, slant. Now they're kind of focused on the slant. Still got the go ball. You feel me? So it's a lot of stuff.
When you came here, you talked about one of the more refreshing things was to have a more expanded route tree. What's that been like, having that come to fruition and putting up the numbers you are with all that?
It's been great. I kind of, that's one of the things that I'm glad you talked about, because that's one of the things that I remember me saying earlier in the year, that if you see me with a more versatile route tree, then you can kind of see what I can do. The Sluggo would be a nice setup.
Theoretically?
Yeah, theoretically. So
How much did Shotty, when you guys first started talking, open up the idea of, hey, I do want to have you on the expanded route tree. You're not just a go ball guy in our offense. How much did that early on happen, that conversation?
When I was talking to Shotty when I first got here, it was just really about making plays because his offense personally was already given that. You know what I mean? So he went through with a few plays with me when I first got here, and I seen the type of plays that he wanted to run, and it was already, different routes that I've already ran. But definitely, shouts out to Shotty.
Yeah, for it to actually come into fruition, for him to say, hey, I want you to be this expanded route tree guy, and then to do it, I mean, how much did that mean to you?
It means a lot. It means a lot just for the whole team, honestly. The offense, the defense, and like you said, I'm just glad it's coming to fruition.
You gotta like that, or actually, you gotta love that. See, this is where Brian Schottenheimer is the mad genius here that understands we're not going to dumb down the offense. Jason Garrett, one of the knocks on Dez Bryant was he only basically had about 3 or 4 routes that they ran, and they basically you knew where Dez Bryant was going to be. They are moving the guys around left and right. They're using stop motion. They are keeping people guessing and on their toes. And by expanding what they're doing with George Pickens and the different routes, that they're just becoming unstoppable and uncoverable. And if they do end up adding Sluggo to it, oh my God, they're going to be able to be completely unstoppable. And you have to understand, George Pickens has only been in here for half a season, basically, a little over half a season in 1 year. You give him another year with this offense, with Dak Prescott, with everything that's together, when you get the seasoning of this offensive line that'll get better and better, to think that Tyler Booker is only a rookie, that's problems for the NFL. Between Tyler Booker and Tyler Smith with the Cooper Beebe in the middle, the Cowboys are going to be a problem for a long, long time here. Remember, we're one of the youngest teams in the NFL. The elder statesman is the old man, Dak Prescott. And if you can continue to do what you're doing, protecting him, keeping them off, because that was the problem with Tony Romo, late in his career, was getting his teeth kicked in because the offensive line just was not that good. They recognized that we have to take care of the offensive line, but it was a little bit too late. When they started drafting Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and Travis Frederick, you saw the potential and you'd wish that they had done that sooner. Well, the Cowboys, maybe they didn't get too late this time, that they're getting this offensive line together, they're getting the running game together, and they're getting weapons. And that's why that offense is unstoppable. If we can get this defense anywhere close to the production of the offense, and it's a work in progress, we're going to be a scary team. And in fact, a lot of teams are scared to death to play the Dallas Cowboys. But make no mistake about it, the reality is we basically have no room for error. We have to run the table, and that may not be enough on its own. We still need some other teams to lose some games. So we could literally end up being 11-6 and not make the playoffs. And that's a reality that we may have to face, that the best team may actually be home. So let's finish this off here with the NFC East crown will go to the Cowboys. Yeah, we'll see.
In the playoffs. And then, Jeff, let's get to our favorite. The Cowboys will make the playoffs, believe it or not.
Believe! Yeah! Woo! I gave them a 0% chance. 0. And since the trade that this team is on, they're the scariest team in the NFL right now. And the crazy, and listen, this goes to Dan Graziano, as he's affectionately called. He always tells us that this division, it is not, since 21 years, the same team is not going to win it again. He kept saying, he put some kind of voodoo witchcraft on this thing, and he texts us during the game, y'all, just little eyes. That's all he sends us, and we know things are going to spiral from there.
That group chat, like, don't the Bears look good? Like the Bears are really playing well.
The Tuesday show has a group chat.
You gotta have a jacket.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm pretend I didn't mention that. Let me show you what's going on. Cowboys play at Detroit on Thursday night, okay? Our analytics say if the Cowboys win that game, their chances of making the playoffs double. If they lose, they fall back down to 8%. They're basically cooked. It's a playoff game for Dallas on Thursday night.
It's a playoff game for the Lions, too.
they need to win out for sure. That's going to be very challenging to get in as a wild card because they're sitting with 3 fewer wins than the Niners, who are currently in the 7th spot. But in the NFC East, if the Cowboys keep on winning and the Eagles start to fall a little bit, that could be the path. And so we start looking ahead to Thursday night's game, which again is a monster one. And let's start with the injury piece of this. Amon-Ra St. Brown, that's a team that's already without its tight end Sam Laporta. Are they going to be without Amon-Ra St. Brown?
He did not practice yesterday. He's got a sprained ankle that he suffered in last Thursday's game. So while it is a full week, it's still a tight turnaround 1 week to the next to try and get back for it. Look, everything you hear on this guy is toughness. You know, he's played through stuff. Like, don't rule him out. But if he doesn't practice again today, it starts to look a little bleak. And they put another cornerback on IR, Terrion Arnold, yesterday. So yeah, they're apart.
That's a beat up.
What Jordan Love did to that defense on Thursday.
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, Pickens, Lamb, in a game where you know weather isn't going to be a factor. You know, there's not going to be, it's guaranteed to be no wind, guaranteed to be no precipitation.
And
Cowboys could be very tough to see.
I think this is a good matchup for the Cowboys, especially at this time. The offensive line for the Lions isn't the same as it was before, and this defensive line for the Cowboys is playing incredibly well. You put on top of those receivers that Dak doesn't seem to be making very many mistakes right now. And, you attack down the field to guys like, Pickens. That man is incredible. Every time you get the ball to him, he's outstanding.
Well, I got 2 corners sitting here, so let's just have a momentary serious conversation if we can. You got George Pickens on one side, you got C.D. Lamb on the other. What are you going to do?
And it's tough because you just mentioned Terrion Arnold going to IR. The Lions play man. Like, that's what they pride themselves on, being able to get up in your face and win. We watched the Chiefs do that this past Thursday. They got up in the face. They put McDuffie on Lamb. They had Watson out there. You just can't do it. You can't go out there and
to answer your question, Greeny, blitz. Like all-out blitz. You got to go, and then you have a situation where if you miss the tackle when they force a quick pass, then you're in a tough situation. But I'd feel much more comfortable knowing that you're going to get pressure on the quarterback than saying, like, hey, play man up with Pickens all game. No thanks.
And let me say this too, because we talking about like what makes the Cowboys so different is their run defense. I think the part that we talked about that's always kind of been their Achilles heel like the last 3 or 4 years. Since the Williams and the Logan and Overshown is back, the difference of them inside, it literally forces you to either try to run outside or throw the football, and they're playing into that, into what their strength is right now. I can tell you this: I would have never believed a turnaround this significant could occur this fast. And what Eberflus and they have done in Cowboy land on the defensive side of the ball makes for tough sledding for what the Detroit Lions want to do.
It's an influx of improved personnel, not just the trade deadline acquisitions, but also the guys that got healthier. You mentioned Overshown, the rookie corner, Revel, he's played well. Trevon Diggs, I think, is coming back either this week or next. So they're getting healthier on that side of the ball. The offense has been elite all year. The vibes around that team are good. Brian Schottenheimer has done an outstanding job of setting the right tone in that building, keeping them all together. They are emboldened by the knowledge that the Eagles cannot possibly win the division. So if they win this game Thursday, my goodness, it's all systems go.
Give me a few betting thoughts on this one, Mr. Fortenbaugh.
Point spread was Detroit -5 at the open. It was nothing but Dallas money knocking it all the way down to 3. And we're talking 3 on the road. That's basically your home field edge. Big edge for Dallas here. If you're going to have to play on the road on a Thursday, they get a full week to get ready. They don't have to turn around in 4 days' time. It's a big spot for them here.
How about Dak for MVP? That's another thing that I've heard people suggesting, that with the way this team has rebounded here in the second half of the season, the way they're playing defense, the way they have gone through this unimaginable tragedy, and the way that Brian Schottenheimer has navigated through it, that all of a sudden his name is coming up a little bit in some Coach of the Year conversation, and Dak's name is coming up in the MVP conversation.
May is your favorite, Stafford second, and then there's a drop-off to Prescott, who's sitting around 15-1. The key for Prescott, and when we're handicapping this award, it's not just about the wins and the stats, it's about the voters. You got to get inside the mind of the voters. A lot of times they don't want to give you the 3rd straight MVP, like with Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. You got to factor this stuff in. Prescott's going to play primetime standalone game right here on a Thursday. He's got 2 other primetime games coming up. One doesn't look like a primetime, but that Commanders game is a standalone on Christmas. That's 3 games where the entire world is staring at just them. Drake May's out of primetime games. You won't see him stand alone at all. Stafford's got 2. The key is in a few weeks, if Stafford and the Rams go to Seattle and win on a Thursday night in front of everyone, I think that's where Stafford locks up the award. But Prescott's got a chance.
I mean, Dak is playing that level of ball. And here's how I can tell. Because Jeff, there is a group chat that precedes you. It predates your arrival. The show used to just be the four of us. Anyway, Jeff is going nuts. I'm sitting there. We were having our post-show call yesterday. I said, I can tell you all right now, Jeff Saturday is all in.
All in.
All in on the Cowboys.
Again, their offensive, they have a very good and efficient run game. Williams is doing a great job. And I think it's under discussed about what Dak gets them in the right play.
Yeah.
Like he sees the game exceptionally well right now, and it's like where that cross comes, right? And he understands when to push the ball down the field, when to give to Pickens, when to Lamb, when to Ferguson, like the flow of the game. So when you talk about like an MVP and I watch him, it's not just floating numbers. He held the team together, man. Like he was playing great offense even when their team was really struggling. He's done a magnificent job.
It doesn't even take into account like the preseason. There was no team that we talk worse about than the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
Eat and grow.
This season is going to be a disaster. They traded their best player away. No one is paying attention to the Cowboys. And then they go and lose a bunch of games and suddenly turn it around after the trade deadline.
I think quickly, Jeff, to your point, I'm sitting at my brother's house on Thanksgiving. We're watching this game. Played with Brady for 10 years. He goes, Dak reminds me of the way Brady played, where he's getting them in and out of the best play. They're bringing blitz. He's getting the ball out quick. He's doing all the little things that enables your team to win.
I can't think of any higher praise. Final words.
Say, like this, Dan Campbell's loving this.
Yeah.
Like Detroit could definitely beat them on Thursday. They're still that.
Of course they could, but
Yeah, you can bet. You can best bet that Dan Campbell, you see how the Cowboys are getting all that love there? Because they disrespecting Detroit, just like they always do. We've been knocked down, we climb up, we chew on kneecaps, we get knocked down again, we come back up, we chew on the next kneecap, because that's what we do, because we're Detroit tough. You know that's the speech that's going on right there. We're getting disrespected by those Cowboys. And I'm sure he's going to be reminding them of the going for two, not once, not second, not three, but 4 times and losing against the Cowboys. I'm Mark Holmes, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I will see you soon. Peace out.